55.
Okay.
Coming up on UCF Nightly News, Congress reached a deal with the debt ceiling, finally putting an end to the government shutdown. We'll tell you the impact it will have on Central Florida. Also, safety issues are a growing concern for theme park goers. We're taking you step by step of how Central Florida park officials make sure you are safe and secure.
Plus, did you know your smartphone could affect your posture? We'll tell you more on how your smartphones are causing people to have spinal issues. UCF Nightly News starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Kenny Morales.
And I'm Caitlin Channa. Today is Friday, October 18th.
The shutdown is finally over and most government employees like those at NASA are back at work and will receive back pay. Nightly News reporter BB Bax tells us how the shutdown is still impacting businesses near NASA.
It took 16 days, but Republicans and Democrats finally reached an agreement. Even though the shutdown may be over for now, businesses like this Cocoa Beach Hilton are still feeling the ripple effect. Normally, this Hilton parking lot would be full, but General Manager Deborah Green tells me the hotel continues to lose bookings because of the government shutdown. Green says since the shutdown, about 560 rooms were canceled for the month of October alone. And unlike furloughed federal employees, her workers won't receive back pay.
I would say that our hourly employees probably have lost about 20% of their income this month because of these cutbacks.
Green says it'll be hard for all businesses to make up for any losses from the shutdown.
You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Fortunately, we're a very busy, successful hotel. There are smaller businesses that it's going to be more difficult for them to make their year goals.
So how much damage was done to the U.S. economy overall? UCF economist Dr. Sean Snate says not much.
It'll probably lower GDP growth in the fourth quarter by 0.2% or so. So there will be some impact from this, but it's not likely to be a traumatic effect.
The new deal may only be a temporary fix. The 35-page agreement says the government will stay open until January 15th and raise the debt limit until February 7th. It also allows for immediate talks in Congress about the budget to prevent another shutdown in January. In Orlando, BB Bax, UCF Nightly News.
The deal passed with an 81-18 vote, and President Obama says in January, Republicans and Democrats will work harder to come up with another deal.
Recent technical difficulties on a Universal Studios roller coaster are sparking questions regarding rider safety. Nightly News reporter Stacia Strong tells us about what theme parks do to keep you safe.
More than 55 million visitors a year come to the Central Florida area to shop, eat, and of course, to enjoy the theme parks. But most don't think about being stuck for 2 hours at a 90-degree angle on a roller coaster. But that's exactly what happened last week on a Universal Studios ride. This is video from the incident that left 12 people stuck at the top of the ride. Officials from the Bureau of Fair Rides say not only did Universal handle this incident correctly, but they went above and beyond by contacting the Bureau since they are not legally required to. Mark Bryson from Fun Spot Amusement Park agrees.
What happened at Universal is what's supposed to happen. If there was a problem with the roller coaster, it stops so that you're not encountering that problem, so you're not putting the guests into jeopardy.
The Bureau of Fair Rides under the Department of Consumer Services handles the inspections of all rides and theme parks in Florida. Bureau officials conduct at least 2 inspections a year of parks with less than 1,000 employees and requires larger parks like Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld to submit quarterly reports about accidents. Bryson walked me through the daily process of opening their park.
They'll look, do a visual inspection, then they'll run it. They'll do an audiological inspection because sometimes you hear something before you see it. Make sure it all works fine before we ever put a customer on it.
The Bureau of Fair Rides not only inspects roller coasters, Ferris wheels, and bumper cars, it also inspects every horse on a carousel ride. In Orlando, Stacia Strong, UCF Nightly News.
We did contact Universal Studios for a comment regarding this incident, but they haven't responded back to us. For more on the Bureau of Fair Rides inspections and their regulation, visit our website at www.nightlynews.ucf.edu. From physical safety to safety sex, UCF's Pride Coalition celebrated National Latino AIDS Awareness Day by offering an interactive workshop with free HIV screenings. The event is just one part of a 3-part program to spread awareness about HIV and AIDS among different populations. Students participated in activities and discussions to educate themselves about the disease. Alexander Pompey is a volunteer with the UCF Pride Coalition. He believes education on sexually transmitted diseases should be a priority for all students.
I feel like it's our duty to prevent the spread of STDs, and we're going to do that through activism and information sessions. We want to educate students and tell them the opportunities and the resources that are available.
When you hear the name iSlouch, you might think it's a new app for your smartphone. Well, you'd be half right. The name is associated with smartphones, however, it isn't something that is here to make your life easier. It's just the opposite, in fact. The term was coined by experts describing the spinal issues people can develop from constantly looking down at their smartphone. Dr. Matt Erba, a Winter Springs-based chiropractor, says people can experience neck problems from constantly looking down or leaning over. Erba also says some people may not experience any immediate problems. However, the added pressure on the spine could cause severe neck pain in the future.
So you'll impact here. As the head goes forward, you actually cause that stretching of the spine. And what happens is you end up damaging the myelin sheath, or the covering of the spine, which is seen in things like MS. So as the head goes forward, you damage things from the inside.
Not all technology has a negative effect, though, especially when it comes to learning. This semester, the John C. Hitt Library is equipped with more resources. Officials say 104 iPads are now available for students to rent for either 4 hours or 7 days. Students can also rent Dell laptop computers and iPhone chargers. Experts also say the university installed software updates and now requires students to use their NID login and password to sign in on any UCF computer. Officials say these advancements are being used to better the student body and create an overall better study environment.
Kenny, I don't know about you, but I use the library all the time, and I really love the new improvements.
I actually do too, Caitlin. I will be using the library pretty soon. I have a midterm to take right after this, so I'll be seeing quite a bit of it. But hopefully after I finish up, we can enjoy some weather outside of the library. We'll go ahead and take a look at our weather forecast with our very own Noe Pickrell.
Thanks, Kenny. Well, it's been a hot day today, and not only that, it's also been a dry day. So right now it is about 89 degrees with humidity at 40%. There isn't a cloud in the sky, and we won't be expecting any rain this afternoon. It's going to be a great day if you want to hit the Central Florida beaches. That's all we have for the forecast. We'll have a little bit more later on in the broadcast.
Thanks, Noe. Still ahead on Nightly News, last year, UCF barely made the cut for having a rigorous curriculum. But UCF is now back on top, receiving national recognition for preparing graduates for the workforce. Hear how UCF went about redeeming the Knight name.
And a new program is encouraging local high school students to join a STEM major. We'll tell you what majors are involved in this new initiative.
UCF is getting recognized at the national level for graduate success and students' academic achievements. I spoke with a UCF official who says this university is getting better every day, but a well-known survey states differently. Back in 2012, Newsweek rated UCF as the #1 least rigorous school in comparison to other universities.
I would counter that by saying we are rigorous, but we also want our students to do well, and so we help them along the way.
I also used more of my teachers because they help me figure out what the requirements are.
Despite this survey, UCF is making headlines again, this time for positive reasons. The Board of Governors, made up of community leaders, ranked 11 Florida universities based on 3 criteria: graduates' employment, wages, and cost of education. Their survey shows UCF is in a tie for the #1 spot in preparing graduates for the workforce.
And for UCF and USF, I think our advantage comes in that we're in really big cities, and there are a lot of opportunities there for our students, and that's important.
Gil Martin explains that business partnerships are a driving factor in students excelling academically in the classroom.
And that professor or instructor has a background, with a local industry or with a specific company, and that can lead to an internship. So I think it starts in your classes.
23-year-old graduate Megan McCourt shares the secret to how she landed her job at UCP to help children with language disability disorders as a speech-language therapist.
Use your teachers as resources, especially the ones who are in that field. So and especially if they know the Orlando area.
Also, the university is celebrating another accomplishment.
President John C. Hitt started at UCF. One of his major goals was to make UCF into America's leading partnership university.
UCF is now one of the nation's 16 leading universities when it comes to the growth in Central Florida business partnerships. Gil Martin says this recognition shows that our university's programs stimulate economic growth and innovation among students.
This month, UCF professors of the science, technology, engineering, and math majors gave high school students a look at what their program has to offer. It's the first time STEM major professors hosted the event. Faculty and staff demonstrated science experiments in front of the physics building and in the lab rooms. Officials from the STEM program say they hope the event helps future Knights decide if they want to become STEM majors. Dr. Al-Rawi Alam gave students advice.
You need to expose to these fields. You need to come to these departments and try to see as much as you can. And at UCF, you could do that. I mean, a student can't come to the department and say, hey, I'm thinking about physics.
A recent study by Forbes.com shows college students are graduating with more than $26,000 of debt. But financial experts at UCF say students should do whatever possible to find jobs that allows them to pay back their loans. Officials also say students shouldn't resist going to another region if that's where a suitable job is available. Financial advisors also want students to be aware that their debt is temporary and will be gone after a bit of hard work and time. But some students see no way out of their debt.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be paying that for the rest of my life, especially with law school, because if I want to go to out-of-state law schools, they'll be $40,000 a year. So really, I'm just mentally preparing myself to pay off that debt until I die.
Midterm season is in full swing, but it's always nice to take a break in between your studies. Students lined up on Wednesday to relax with some furry companions. Rent-a-Pup was the event held on Wednesday in front of the Burnett Honors College to help students unwind from the stress of midterms. Pet Rescue by Judy supplied these students with these four-legged friends. All students had to do was bring their valid school ID and they could rent the dogs for 15 to 20 minutes. They were able to take these animals on walks, pet them, or just hang out. The shelter, which is a no-kill animal shelter, was also taking donations to help take care of these cute dogs. The shelter will continue to host this event multiple times throughout the semester. And still ahead on Nightly News, the weather is starting to heat up. When we come back, our Noe Pickrell tells us if this is a trend we can come to expect in the upcoming days. And Halloween is right around the corner, but some UCF Knights are starting early. See how they kicked off the Halloween festivities.
Also, students and community members came together to observe the moon. We'll tell you all about the event and what students saw in the night sky when we return.
For the first time, UCF's physics department showed students the moon and stars in front of the CFE arena. UCF Nightly News reporter Mark Rosel was at the event and tells us what students experienced.
International Observe the Moon Night is normally held here at the UCF Robinson Observatory. But this year, the UCF Physics Department decided to do things a little differently, holding the event in front of the CFE arena. Director of the UCF Robinson Observatory, Dr. Jan Fernandez, held the event to celebrate the night with a larger crowd.
We're trying to bring sort of the wonder of the night sky to more and more people because astronomy outreach is something we are very excited about, enthusiastic about. It's a really important aspect of our jobs in the physics department. And so we want to, show people just how many cool things you can actually see in the night sky from UCF with relatively modest equipment.
The UCF Physics Department set up 3 telescopes to give attendees a great look at the moon and Venus. More than 100 students, parents, and children came out to see the setup. A live feed of the moon's surface was displayed for those waiting in line for the telescopes.
A telescope earlier that was looking at Venus, and I've never seen Venus, so I thought that was pretty neat.
UCF sophomore Anthony Din says it was his first time at the event and was impressed by what he saw.
And I thought the prints that they had was pretty cool, how they have different prints of the sky. I took a couple home.
Attendees were also able to take home screenshots of the moon, handmade drawings, and planetary tattoos. In Orlando, Mark Rosel, UCF Nightly News.
The UCF Physics Department holds events every week for students interested in astronomy.
Halloween is right around the corner, but some folks in downtown Orlando are already in the holiday spirit. Yesterday, City Arts Factory representatives kicked off its Dia de los Muertos and Monster Factory exhibit. The Mexican holiday focuses on the gatherings of family and friends to pray and remember those who have passed away. Artwork from local Orlando artists were on display, along with some live music, dance performances, and of course, face painting. City Arts officials say its Monster Factory exhibit will remain open throughout the holiday season. You know, Kenny, if I was there last night, I would have got my face painted.
You wouldn't have been the only one, Caitlin. I went there and there was actually about 20 or 30 kids all painted up as skeletons, so you wouldn't have been alone.
Okay, see, then I'd fit right in. Okay, well, we have Noe Pickverell here with us to see if the weather is actually getting hotter over the next few days. Noe?
Thanks, Caitlin, and it actually is. Tomorrow, the weather is going to be hotter. Actually, if we look at our state temperatures right now, we can see in Tallahassee, it's actually 85 degrees, where in Jacksonville, it's a little bit hotter at 87. Over in Tampa, in the Bay Area, they get a little bit cooler with the Bay breeze at 86 degrees. And in Orlando, it's an 89. In Miami, it's also 89 degrees. So you have one last chance to hit the beach, and that's tomorrow. So go check out some of the Cocoa beaches. Taking a look at our precipitation map, we can see that right now, although Florida is dry, we have some cold fronts coming in here and some low pressures coming down from the north, which is going to push in a lot of cooler weather and rain. So starting Sunday, you can expect to have a lot of rain, and make sure to keep a light jacket or an umbrella with you. Also up in the Midwest area, you can see there's a lot of rain and snow. This is because of Tropical Storm Atlas that's up there, and it's bringing in freezing temperatures to the Midwest. Going on to our heat index. In Florida right now, it is hot in the low 90s and high 80s, and we can expect that once again to cool off a little bit over the next few days. And towards the Midwest and all the way to the West Coast, we can see a little bit cooler temperatures because of the storm Atlas. Now, if we take a look at our 5-day forecast, today and tomorrow we have temperatures in the low 90s and lows of 72 degrees with almost no % chance of rain at 10 and 20%. Through Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we have it a little bit cooler in the high 80s with the lows of 70% each day and 30% chance of rain each of those days. That's all we have for weather right now. Back to Caitlin and Kenny at the desk.
Thanks, Noe. Still ahead on Nightly News, it's been a good week for UCF sports. The UCF football team is preparing for one of their biggest matchups of the season against Louisville. And men's and women's basketball is gearing up for the new season. Mark Rosel tells us more about what to expect from both teams after a quick timeout. Sports is up next.
Welcome, Knights fans, to your UCF Sports Update. I'm Mark Rosel. The Knights are set to take on their toughest competition of the year, even bigger than the University of South Carolina, taking on number 6 ranked University of Louisville, tonight in Kentucky, led by Heisman hopeful Teddy Bridgewater. The one and only time the Knights beat a ranked opponent was in 2009 against 12th ranked Houston. The two programs have not played one another since 1985, but this matchup could shape up to be an American Athletic Conference championship preview. Coach O'Leary says the pressure is going to be on the defensive side of the ball.
I thought we were young back there, and we are, but I think they're playing better than I expect them to play. We're still giving up some routes. I think we got to put more pressure on as far as transition to the ball. Where we have to play very, very well is the front seven.
Kickoff is at 8 p.m. tonight on ESPN. Your quarterback and Oviedo hometown hero Blake Bortles is closer to being the 2013 Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner. The list of 30 college quarterbacks is cut this week from 30 to 15 players. Bortles is on a list with players like Alabama's A.J. McCarron, Clemson's Taj Boyd, and Miami's Stephen Morris. Last year's Heisman winner Johnny Manziel is not on the list. And two of UCF football's big guys up front on the offensive line won awards this week. Jordan and Justin McCray became the first two brothers to win the Warfel Trophy, given to players that exemplify community service with exceptional athletic and academic achievement. Congratulations, guys. And Knights men's and women's basketball taken to the hardtop on Saturday. The new blacktop floors at the CFE Arena are going to get some sneaker marks on them in game action. The men's team is having an inter-squad scrimmage, giving you a first look at preseason conference All-American Isaiah Sykes. This is going to be a big season for the Knights with their toughest schedule ever, coming up with games against defending NCAA champion Louisville, UConn, and Memphis. The men's and women's team will have a meet and greet with fans and sign autographs. Doors open at the CFE Arena at 5 p.m. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. And congratulations to the women's soccer team. They are undefeated in conference play and ranked 19th in the nation. They beat Louisville Sunday night in Kentucky, making them the only unbeaten team left in the American Athletic Conference. Your Lady Knights beat the Cardinals 1-0. Both teams were picked as conference favorites when the year began. They take on Rutgers tonight here at the soccer complex at 8 p.m., their second to last home game of the season. And that's all the time we have for sports. Let's send it back to Caitlin, Kenny, and Noe at the desk.
Thanks, Mark. Now let's take one last look at our weather forecast with our very own Noe Pickrell.
Well, it's going to be a nice night out tonight, so if you want to have a barbecue with your friends to watch the game, it'll be a wonderful night to do that. And tomorrow it's going to be in the highs with 90s and lows in the 70s. Starting Sunday, we will see a slight drop in temperatures and a higher chance of rain. So if we haven't told you enough, if you want to take one last trip to the beach, Saturday is the day to do it. That's all we have for weather right now.
Thanks, Noe. That's all the time we have. Thanks for joining us. If you have a story, idea, or a comment about something you've seen here on Nightly News, email us at nightlynews@ucf.edu.
And be sure to check us out online in English and Spanish at nightlynews.ucf.edu. Join us here again next week. Until then, have a great weekend.